as well creepy. Look at that.
I've got this radiator valve to swap on this one. It's on steel pipe. I've tried freeing the pin off. This one will not release. Well, it does release, but the whole pin goes out. Haven't got any glands for this one either. You can sometimes just change the glands, but I think it's actually completely broken. What I'm going to do is just freeze this off, shut that lock shield off, and I'm going to whip it across and just get it swapped out. I mean, it is quite an old system, this one. It's a big system as well. I don't really fancy draining it, so we'll get the pipe freezer set up and we'll get it sorted. So we've just got the pipe freezer set up now, so this is working its magic. This will probably take about 15-20 minutes to freeze. This is 1/2 inch steel or black iron. What I've done is I've turned that lock shield there off, and when we think it's frozen, we'll open the air tap or crack that nut, and we'll have everything ready. It's just a case of unwinding that, Loctite on that M&F thread, and then popping that one straight in there. We've got another Danfoss valve, so Danfoss for Danfoss, and then when we take this one out, we can see exactly what's gone wrong with this valve. I think it's proper stuck in. I did try and winding this gland out of it. It just wasn't having any of it. That pipe is getting pretty cold already. Starting to get a bit of ice forming on the back of the pipe. It's been on probably 10 minutes. We'll give it another 10 minutes. And I think that'll be good enough to go. Luckily it's not too bad in here, but I wouldn't want to snatch this across. We're just in like an outside courtyardy bit. But I still don't want to make a mess, and I don't want to get airlocks everywhere. It's going. Good. You can open the air tap if you want. I think it's got it, hasn't it? We'll soon find out anyway if it's not got it. Anyway. Yeah, it's well froze on it. How tight is that going to be? I've got Stilsons if you want them. Do you want me, anything I can do? Do you want me to hold against?
Yeah, you might have to hold that. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you're right, mate. Yeah, you're right.
Ready?
Yeah, all good. You got it.
Let's go.
I was going to say, we could always eat it up, couldn't we? Yeah, we're good. That's the worst bit.
Should. Give it that now. You still holding against?
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, I've got my knee on it.
Soon find out if it's held though, because it's.
Yeah, I think that pin. Oh yeah, I see what you're saying, because the pin was shut, wasn't it, on it? So opening the air tap would do nothing. Good idea, Tom.
Well, we know
get
it's.
rid of my thumb anyway. That valve literally was letting nothing through, was it? Before. I don't think it's got it, has it? It might be. It might just be the pressure in it.
Yeah.
I think we're good. You lock tight there, yeah. It's not too bad in here. It's if you've got like a white carpet or something, you feel a little bit more pressure, don't you? Especially with the two of us as well, because we can always hold it back.
Was.
I sat on it.
Oh, you're sat on it, Tom.
All good.
Yep. You're on it. I've got it.
I'm always sat on it. I'm always in the way. Golden. It's the worst bit done, isn't it? Certainly a lot easier than draining all this, wasn't it? I've had a nightmare here in the past filling this building back up.
A lot quicker, isn't it?
Yeah. One more turn now, boy. You can sometimes just get away with replacing the gland. With this one, it was really dodgy on the pin. Sliding in and out, and that wasn't letting anything through. It's almost like the washer was trapped tight up against the seat. I mean, it is a pretty old valve, to be fair. Been called for this job, toilet constantly overflowing. It's been isolated, so we'll get the lid off. That one just unscrews on this. he says. Oh, I can't do it, can I? Typical. Sometimes you have to like flick the buttons out, but I think this is an unscrew one. So we'll get the lid off. It's either going to be the flush valve or the ball valve. So we'll have a look. That one was ridiculously tight. It's going to be a SciAmp, isn't it? It's going to be a SciAmp. Yeah, it's a SciAmp. Could just be the ball valve. These ball valves are prone to the washer splitting on them. We'll fill it up and see what happens. Yeah, it's the ball valve. I don't actually have any SciAmp ones in the van, I don't think. Although they say it's constantly running, so it could be the flush valve as well, but that ball valve's pretty knackered. We'll even change that ball valve and then we'll check the flush valve washer. These are the ones I carry in the van. These are side entry, bottom entry, 3/8.5 inch. These Virking, they're not Virking, they're Viva. What am I on about? So that, it's a direct replacement for that. So the SciAmp ones aren't the best, to be honest with you. I mean, this may be the only issue with this toilet. It's an empty property that's just been reported. So I can't ask anybody, but we'll check to make sure at the end it's not actually overflowing. Disconnect the flexi. Might change this flexi as well if I've got one. And then just disconnect the ball valve. There's not a lot of water in there. A 30-second job. No such thing as a 30-second job. These have got a check valve built into the bottom as well, so they are compliant with the water regs. This just screws with a nice brass shank on these as well, and a nice rubber washer. What you want to do is you want to try and set it to the same height roughly as the old ball valve. To adjust these, it's just a twist and a lock. So we want to be a bit higher. We can adjust it on the float, but it's just getting it approximately the right height. So no need to put any silicone on these. Drop that straight through there. The nylon nut and the other nut. The only time I'll put silicone on it is if it leaks. But to be honest with you, the rubber should do its job, but sometimes the ceramic is rubbish. And then just tighten that back up. I might just nip to the van and see if I've got a flexi. We'll see if it fills for a start. It'll definitely fill. We'll see if it overflows. Switch it back on. And it's filling up 1,000 times better than it was. For some reason this system's got 2 6-litre water lines on it. So it's just stopped, well, pretty much just above the bottom one and just below the top one. Don't know why it's got 2 6-litre ones on it. You'll see in this print. What we need to do now is just make sure that this toilet's not overflowing. What I generally do, there's no toilet paper. I just get some dry tissue, just pop it at the back, because sometimes it can be the flush valve washer. Again, if it is that, I don't like these SciAmp ones very much, or SciAmp, because they just cause more problems than enough. I know I could have got a new washer for that. The washers are prone to splitting, but it's like a 2-minute job just to swap the whole thing out. It's easy in here, and I don't carry them in the van. I probably should, but you can't carry everything. That's probably all that was wrong with it. Just spotted that, that's a nice looking drain off, isn't it? To be fair, proper tight to the floor in it, the way they've done the pipe. Anyway, I shouldn't be observing the plumbing. I've just got to get this toilet finished fixing. I think we're okay. I've checked to make sure it's not overflowing at the back. It's absolutely static going in there, so I just need to have a quick dry up. What I'm probably going to do is clean all the corrosion off this, so make it easier for the flush button to come out again in the future. That's why I was struggling to get it off. It's like welded itself in. But yeah, happy with that. Perfect. I've been asked to remove this dead leg on this hot, so I need to trace it back and work out where it's coming from. It's had an old washing machine they used to run hot and cold feeds in. Nowadays they only need cold, but it can end up with stagnant water inside that pipe. So we'll have to see if we can trace this one back. It's coming through into this boxing. There's only a cold that runs along, so it's going to be in this boxing. We'll see if we can lift a ceiling tile up there, find out where it's coming from. Where are the basins? Oh, there's basin hots are down here, so it could even come off this point here. So we'll have a tile up and see if we can cap it. Well, we've got twice the pipe diameter, so it's 22mm pipe. We've got, well, we'll cap it as tight back to the T as we can, or take the T out if possible. At least there's plenty of room up here, so it's that pipe there, isn't it? Running all the way around. It will be that one. And it looks like it's got a heat trace on this as well. That's a heat trace cable, so we've got to be a bit careful when we cut it, and it is literally going across where we said. That lagging should be labelled up really if it's got a heat trace on, but that's what it looks like to me. That red thing over there, that white box with the red thing on, is heat trace. Surprised it's not got a secondary circuit on this. Yeah, we'll have a look at it. So it is this one, that's our hot. That is heat trace, but it's probably not done on this branch. So as long as that only feeds that washing machine, we can cut it and cap it here. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to cut into that. What size is that? Is that 54mm? Could easily be. So I'm going to cut it on this branch. Hopefully this one's only 15. We'll get this lagging strip back. And yeah, get the water off. We'll get it capped nice and easy. We have got some isolation valves here, which that gate valve's not going to work. I think I'm going to switch the lot off. I'm not sure if this heat trace is working or not. I'll have to have a word with the electricians. I mean, if the heat trace is working, in theory this pipe should be warm, but it's not, and this lagging really should be labelled up, the fact that it's got a heat trace on it, because you could just cut straight through that and then cut straight through the cable. You're supposed to label it. The cylinder is just literally the other side of that plasterboard wall. That's where the cylinder is. I mean, there are some fairly longish runs down there, but normally you'd put a secondary circuit on this. What we got? It runs along, doesn't it, and then drops down on them all. But yeah, I'm just going to cap this, and then we'll have to have a word with the electrical team as whether that heat trace needs to come off this leg. I'm not sure if you can even disconnect it. It looks like it's just a branch one, doesn't it? Let's just get rid of that. Get rid of that, and then we'll cut our pipe back here. If we turn this one here off, that'll knock the feeds off to the cylinder. We'll go and open a hot tap, and that should stop it. So what you've got is you've got cold coming into this cylinder, comes out, drops in through the secondary tap in, and then into this cylinder and then out the top, and that's where the heat trace starts. So it runs all the way around, and then we're literally about down here somewhere. Probably not actually, no, probably a little bit further along, but we're down there somewhere. So they've used a, what's that, a strap pump on it. Oh yeah, that'll be de-stratification, I would say, to move the water around the bottoms of the cylinder. That's what they've used on there. It's an interesting way of piping it. Open some taps up. That's the branch of the T there, so I'm going to cut it as close back as I can. Let that breathe in a second. we're literally right back on that branch on this one, so any hot water passing will naturally flush this point out. Anyway, I mean, sometimes if you can get the branch out, it is better, but this one's got all heat trace and everything on it. It's just being absolute. What size is the pipe anyway? Is it 42? Might be 42. So yeah, it'd be a bit of a nightmare to get that branch out. So I'll shut the taps. I'll have a word with the electrical team with regards to this heat trace, and yeah, that's this little one all sorted. I've stripped all that pipework out on the hot as well. I've not took it out of the boxing or the ceiling, but it just shows that it's been disconnected this end, so I can get the wash machine pushed back in now. Thank you so much for watching the video. All the support is greatly appreciated. I am doing my best to try and mix up the content as much as possible, trying to show you bits out of my day. I've had a run of minging jobs, to be honest with you, the last few days. So I might do a video in the next couple of weeks of sort of the worst jobs in plumbing. I've had like a macerator swap, which they're always pretty awful. And I've had block urinals, they're always minging as well, aren't they? I just want to quickly show you this that somebody sent me. It's an old tile depicting, I think it's lead work. I'm not sure who sent me that, but I do really appreciate it, so thank you for sending that out. That's going to go with my vintage tool collection, so yeah, thank you for that. It does mean a lot. As I say, all the support is greatly appreciated. Everybody liking the videos, commenting, it really does mean a lot to me. And it does, not that I wouldn't make the videos anyway, because I do really enjoy making them, but it kind of makes it all worthwhile, if that makes sense, you know, when you get more interactions and stuff on a video. As I say, I absolutely would make them, but reading nice comments really does make my day, so thanks for that. I'll leave you with a little bit at the end of this one. Just me and Aidan went to look at a job, and there was a really creepy mask down in the basement, so I'll leave you with that. Have a great week, and yeah, we'll catch you all next time. Thank you so much for watching. Ooh. It runs a fair way, that gas, you know, doesn't it? It's only an inch. It's all the way along here, meters out there. I reckon that's going to need to be bigger, isn't it? We can measure the run. We're just pricing for a new boiler on this one. You probably can't see much. We're down in the basement, and the gas runs, the meters. There, we've got a 68 kilowatt boiler, and there's the gas. And it runs up. We've got one bend. Runs across. That must be 8 meters across there. We can measure it properly. There's 2 more bends on it there. There's 2 more bends on it that end, and there must be 6 bends in the boiler room, so we'll have to size that up. It's creepy down here, isn't it? Ooh. That is well creepy. What the hell is that? That's really creepy. I might have to tie that to the front of my van. What's he found? Dead man's stick. Oh, man. That's the bloke's stick, that is.
That's an actual head.
I know, it's an actual head. Yeah, we'll measure that gas up, and yeah, it should be alright. Ooh.